Alright, straight in. Number 1. Death grip reflex. Here's something to keep you up at night. Even when you're gone, your hands might not get the memo. The so-called death grip happens when your muscles spasm post-mortem, clenching around whatever you were holding. And sometimes, they don't let go. From a psychology angle, humans are wired to interpret gripping as intention. If you see someone tightly clutching something, your brain screams, "They want that!" So when investigators pry an object from a corpse's hands, it feels like they're disrespecting some final wish, even though it's just nerve and muscle biology being stubborn. Historically, this freaked people out so badly it spawned myths. Soldiers in battlefields were said to die gripping their swords so tightly they had to be buried with them. In reality, it was just post-death muscle contraction. But hey, it made for a great ghost story. He's still holding the blade because he's not done fighting. The truth? Your nervous system is just tossing out its last chaotic fireworks. But thanks to our instinctual wiring, we see intention where there's only leftover electricity. In other words, your body might die, but your grip strength is still competing for a medal. Number 2. The brain's last sparks. Here's a fun nightmare. Your brain doesn't shut off instantly when you die. For a short time, sometimes minutes, it keeps firing off electrical activity, almost like a flickering light bulb refusing to go quietly. Some studies even show a massive surge of synchronized brainwaves right after death, similar to the ones seen when you're dreaming or meditating. So yeah, it's possible that in those final moments, your brain is running the weirdest dream sequence of your life. Except, you don't wake up afterward. Psychologists theorize this could explain near-death experiences. That whole floating above your body a tunnel of light montage could just be your brain's grand finale, a natural hallucination powered by oxygen deprivation and chaos firing in the cortex. Our instincts, of course, love to romanticize it. For millennia, humans saw these stories as proof of souls traveling or glimpses into the afterlife. And honestly, can you blame us? It's comforting to think the fireworks in your skull mean something profound, rather than just your neurons panicking like rats on a sinking ship. So whether it's enlightenment or brain static, one thing's clear. Even in death, your noggin insists on squeezing in one last show. Number 3. Skin crawling. You've probably heard the phrase skin crawling, but after death, it's not just a metaphor. Your skin actually starts shifting. Not because you've turned into some horror movie monster, but because your body is still very much a playground for bacteria and gas buildup. As those gases expand, they can make your skin bubble, stretch, and even produce little ripples of movement. Price. From a psychological angle, humans are deeply disturbed by skin movement because our instincts equate it with infestation, parasites, bugs, disease. So when the body's natural decomposition causes skin to literally wiggle, it triggers disgust at maximum setting. Your brain doesn't say, "Oh, that's just putrefaction." It says, burn it all. But here's where it gets weirder. In some cultures, these unsettling changes were once mistaken for signs of vampirism or undeath. People saw corpses shifting, bloating, or breathing due to gases, and assumed the dead were still secretly alive. Which, to be fair, is exactly the kind of paranoia evolution wired us for. Better safe than accidentally bitten. So yes, technically your body becomes a balloon animal for microbes, and everyone watching will instinctively imagine you're trying to get back up. Spoiler, you're not. Number 4. Sudden death erection. Alright, let's go full awkward. In certain cases, dead bodies get what's politely called a death erection. The medical term is priapism, but let's be real. Nobody's using that word at a funeral. It happens when pressure builds in the blood vessels due to how the body dies, particularly in cases involving head or spinal trauma. With no brain activity to regulate blood flow, the body can lock into this bizarre, very unromantic pose. And of course, nothing terrifies the human psyche like sexual functions showing up where they absolutely shouldn't. From an instinctive standpoint, this is extra disturbing because it mashes two primal signals together. Death, the ultimate off signal, and reproduction, the ultimate on signal. Our brains simply don't know what to do with that combo, so they go straight to superstition, myth, and shame. Historically, these post-mortem erections fueled ghost stories, demon lore, and even accusations of witchcraft. Science says it's just blood pressure and muscle lock, but your instincts? They're screaming, "Oh no, even death is horny." Which honestly is the worst tagline for the afterlife ever. Number 5. The dead can still twitch. Imagine walking into a morgue and seeing a corpse casually move a hand. No thanks, I'm out. But here's the thing. Muscles don't instantly get the memo that the brain has left the chat. After death, your nerves can still fire off random electrical signals, making muscles spasm. This means dead bodies can sometimes jerk, twitch, or even sit up slightly in what's called the Lazarus reflex. It's not resurrection, it's not ghosts, and it's definitely not your grandma saying hi. It's just leftover biological static. Think of it like when your phone buzzes with phantom notifications hours after you've sworn you turned it off. The psychological impact, though, brutal. Humans are deeply programmed to associate movement with life. Our ancestors needed to know if that predator was really dead before poking it with a stick. So when a supposedly lifeless body suddenly flexes a hand or lifts an arm, our caveman instincts scream, "Run first, explain later." Doctors, nurses, and morticians know this happens, but it still freaks them out. And honestly, if a corpse waved at me, you wouldn't even see me leave. There'd just be a cartoon dust cloud in the shape of my body. Number 6. Voices from the dead. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet morgue and suddenly the corpse on the table makes a sound. A long guttural groan. If you don't instantly resign and move to a cabin in the woods, you're stronger than me. But here's the reality. After death, the body is basically a balloon filled with leftover gases from digestion. The muscles that normally keep those gases in, they're not on duty anymore. So when someone moves the body or even presses on it, the gas squeezes past the vocal cords, creating noises. Moans, sighs, even something disturbingly close to speech. Our brains are hardwired to assign meaning to sound, so even if it's just escaping air, we hear speech. This instinct comes straight from survival wiring. We're social creatures who evolved to pay close attention to voices, even faint ones. Unfortunately, this means your poor lizard brain thinks a corpse just said, "Help me," when really it's just burping from the afterlife. So yes, your body might prank future generations by farting and moaning long after you're gone. Technically, you're still making conversation, just not the kind anyone wants to hear. Number 7. The final flush. You know how your body's usually pretty polite about keeping things inside until you're in a bathroom? Yeah, death cancels that courtesy. When you die, the muscles controlling your bladder and bowels relax completely. Which means, you might make one last mess on the way out. Where from an evolutionary perspective, this is a weird leftover instinct. The body shutting down prioritizes energy, and maintaining sphincter control is no longer on the checklist. It's a hard reset, and your internal plumbing defaults to open. Psychologically, though, this creates a powerful impression for the living. Ancient cultures noticed this phenomenon and often tied it to the idea of the soul literally leaving the body. Something departs, something empties. Cause and effect, right? Humans have always linked bodily release with spiritual release. Science, of course, says it's just muscle relaxation and gravity doing their thing. But your instincts don't care. They see a dead body emptying itself and decide, something just left. Better light a candle and pray. So, congratulations. You might not get to choose your last words, but you will leave behind one final statement. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.